When was the last time you thought about bats? Well, the Department of Natural Resources wants you to understand these creatures and what they do for our environment. Wildlife biologist Jim Auger is here to set the record straight and invite you to the 9th annual BatBlitz. Good morning, Jim. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you.
Okay, so should we be scared of bats? Because I know some people might be a little bit. Is that okay?
Well, it's not uncommon. In fact, it's very common for people to be afraid of bats. I think we grow up hearing tales about bats tangling up in our hair and consorting with witches.
They're different looking, you know.
Stuff, yeah.
But all in all, they're good to have around. They eat lots of insects, many of which are harmful, especially for agriculture, lots of beetles and moths.
So they actually bring some positive effects to our environment.
Very much so, very much.
Is there anything that would maybe scare us about, or not scare us, we already know.
Yeah, I was going to say,
definitely.
they
can scare us. Surprise
us,
rather, that's what I meant to say. Anything that maybe would surprise us about these guys?
Well, probably just the diversity around the world of bats. There are thousands of species, and this is one of the most diverse groups of mammals there is. And they have branched out and feed on just about anything you can think of. The ones in North America feed strictly on night-flying insects, which again is one of the things we like about them. Right. But all around the world they feed on things. Everybody's heard of vampire bats, which of course feed on blood. Some eat fruit, some are predatory and eat fish, frogs.
Well, you're right, because we're rolling a bunch of pictures right now and they all look different. I didn't realize there were so many different kinds.
And
I'm just curious, how many kinds do we have here in Middle Georgia?
Well, in Georgia overall we have 16 species, and most of those would be found here in Middle Georgia. And some of them live strictly in caves, some of them live in trees, and most of them just look for a dark, sheltered place to hide during the daytime. And the nighttime they come out and do what they do best, which is eat insects.
And we like that, especially those mosquitoes. Tell me a little bit more about this BatBlitz.
Okay, the BatBlitz is a gathering of bat researchers and experts, and again, there's so much we don't know about bats, and it takes a good bit of effort to learn things. So you have to go out and catch them for one thing, which can be difficult.
Oh, I bet.
So we bring people in from around, and they set up a series of nets at different locations, and go out 3 nights in a row and spend several hours netting bats, which is a mist net, is a very fine net used at a waterway or something where bats can be flying. Identify the numbers and the species we're getting, and that gives a good idea of what we have in that area.
Now the family can actually come out at one point and hang out with you guys and see what's done. When is that?
Right, Sunday evening will be an educational event, and this is going to be at Fort Mountain State Park, which is up in North Georgia. And we encourage people
to come out. It's summertime. That would be a great little,
weekend getaway.
Trip.
Yeah,
be a great trip. It'd be cooler up there too.
Yeah. That's right.
So what can people expect if they show up then on Sunday?
Well, there'll be some exhibitors and educators, and one event we'll have will actually be a little device called an anabat. Most people realize that bats echolocate, so they put out real high-frequency sounds. And they use that to find their way around and keep from bumping into things in the dark, and also find their food. And we can't hear those sounds with our ears, but this little device takes those ultrasonic noises and converts them into something we can hear, so we can actually listen to bats.
That'd be really cool.
So, Jim, what if we find a bat flying around our studio here? Let's say it hides there, in the dark, and then we come in and what would be the best thing? What would be the best thing to do?
Well, it's always the best thing not to touch them with your bare hand. I mean, most bats are perfectly safe and healthy, but occasionally one might have a disease such as rabies, and you don't want to take any chances. That could be very serious. So. There are ways to pick it up. Maybe just shovel it into a paper cup or a tin can or something, take it outside and let it go. But
be gentle
if you have a net or something like that, just go ahead and try to scoop it up.
You can do that. A net will
just open up the window and leave the house. That's the best suggestion. That's what I'm thinking.
Now you can find everything you need about the BatBlitz Family Night under my blog at 41NBC.com.